All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something really cool. That moment, the one where an idea in your head actually starts becoming a real thing you can hold. We're diving deep into mastering the make stage.
I mean, have you ever had one of those brilliant ideas, but then you have absolutely no clue how to actually build it? We've all been there. You've got the napkin sketch, the concept is perfect, but getting from that piece of paper to a real object, it feels like this giant mysterious gap. But you know what? It really doesn't have to be that way.
So the secret here is really just having a good map. And for creators, that map is something called the IDMEC process. It's basically a 5-stage guide. You investigate, then you design, then you make something, you evaluate it, and then you communicate what you've done. Super logical, right? Well, today we are laser focused on that critical middle step, the make part.
All right, so let's get right into it. This jump from design to make, it's a big deal. And it's way more than just grabbing some tools. It's actually a completely different way of thinking.
Yeah, check this out. It really breaks down that mental shift. When you're in the design stage, your brain is just on fire with creativity, right? You're asking, what if? The whole point is to come up with sketches and plans. But then, boom, you hit the make stage, and everything changes. Suddenly, it's all about technical skill, being precise, and being safe. The goal isn't a drawing anymore, it's a real working prototype.
So, how do you actually make that leap from a creative idea to a physical thing? Well, believe it or not, the very first step isn't to pick up a hammer or a glue gun. Nope, it's to make an even more detailed plan. You need a real blueprint for success. And that blueprint, it's built on 3 key pillars. First up, working drawings. These aren't just doodles, they're clear diagrams that show exactly how every single part fits together. Second, you gotta have a materials list, a complete one. We've all done that mid-project run to the hardware store, right? Let's avoid that. And third, and this one is huge, a sequence of operations. This is your step-by-step instruction manual, your guide for the entire build.
Okay, blueprint in hand. We are now officially ready to step into the make stage. This is where the magic really happens. You know, where the sawdust starts to fly and your idea finally starts to look like something real.
So what does making actually involve? Well, obviously you're following that plan we just talked about, but it's also about fabrication. The actual hands-on work of cutting, shaping, and putting your materials together. But here's the part people forget. It's also about refinement. Because let's be honest, things almost never go perfectly the first time. A measurement's a tiny bit off, a piece doesn't quite fit. That's not failure, that's just part of making. It's where you have to think on your feet and make little tweaks. And of course, all of this relies on having the right skills and most importantly, always being safe.
Okay, that's a lot of theory. It's way more fun to see it in action, right? So let's make this super concrete. We're going to walk through the production plan for building a model of an amusement park ride. This is going to show you exactly how those planning pillars we talked about work in a real, actual project.
So first things first, the materials list. Just look how organized this is. We know exactly what we need. Cardboard for the structure, skewers for the axles, glue to connect it all. And it even tells us which tools we'll need for each part. This, right here, is how you stay organized and avoid those nasty surprises halfway through. Okay, now let's look at the sequence of operations, the step-by-step guide. See how it starts? Step 1 is all about the foundation. You gotta cut and secure that base plate to make sure it's stable. I mean, nobody wants a wobbly park ride, right? Then, step 2, you build the support structure right on top of that solid base. You make sure everything is strong before you start adding more complicated stuff.
All right, now for the really cool stuff. Step 3 is putting together the mechanism, all the moving parts that make the ride actually work. Then, in step 4, we build and attach the carriage, the little seats for our imaginary passengers. And then, step 5. This one is so important. You have to actually test it.
And get this, the plan actually sets aside a specific block of time, 15 minutes, just for testing. That tells you everything. Testing isn't something you do if you have time at the end. It's a planned, dedicated step. It's your chance to run the ride, see how it moves, and find any little problems before you declare victory. This is when you find out if something's rubbing or a connection is weak, back when it's still super easy to fix.
And all that testing leads right into this, your final quality control checklist. Before you call it a day, you run through these simple questions. Is it stable? Does it move the way it's supposed to? Any sharp edges we need to fix? And hey, does it actually look like the drawing we started with? This little checklist is what guarantees that the thing you built is the thing you wanted to build. So
When you put it all together, you can really see that the make stage is so much more than just assembling parts from a list. It's this really active, intelligent, and super important part of the whole creative journey.
And this quote, I think it just nails it. The make stage is where the idea becomes real. It's the bridge that connects the world of your imagination to the physical world you can actually touch.
So here's the big takeaway. Making isn't just mindlessly following a set of instructions, it's more like having a conversation with your materials. It's where you figure out, for real, what works and what doesn't. You solve problems you couldn't have possibly seen on paper, and in the end, it's how you bring your personal vision to life.
So once you start to see the make stage, not as some chore, but as this amazing process of structured problem solving, well, that's when you unlock the power to build pretty much anything you can dream up. You've got the blueprint now. You know how to turn a thought into a thing. So the only question I have for you is, what are you going to build?